morning.
What's your name?
Jeff. I'm from Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas, in the house. We're down.
Yes.
What's your question, Jeff?
Is for Jonathan Coulton. Well, I probably couldn't look this up on Wikipedia, but I swore off the internet. But how exactly did you make the switch from programming to being a professional musician?
I quit my job. And then I started putting songs on the internet. Yeah. I mean, that's sort of what is your question? Like, what motivated me to do it, or what?
No, what was the, what happened? I mean, did it take a long time? You just got fired and started doing it, or?
I did not get fired. I would
Good day, sir.
The story.
Good day, sir. Good day.
It was a mutual decision. Right?
I left to pursue other interests. It's not the same thing as getting fired.
But good job simulating Wikipedia with inaccuracy.
Yeah. I wanted to become a musician and never could figure out how to do it. And at that time, I was experiencing some level of tiny fame through my association with Mr. Hodgman. The internet had changed, and there were MP3s, and there were people selling MP3s, and a lot of stuff happening that hadn't happened before. And my wife had a job, so it was okay. We talked.
There it is. There's the real story.
Stand up, Christine.
Stand up, Christine. Look at you with your big Christmas job. Mama's got a job.
And we discussed it, and we figured it would be okay for me to at least take a year and do kind of anything, even if it didn't result in anything good. I could always go back and get a software job. And over the course of that year, I sort of got lucky, and we felt like it was.
What was the phrase she actually used? Go ahead and try your little thing.
And 9 months later, a miracle happened.
A lot of people in my life at the time said, I just think you would have a better chance if you had some sort of a plan. But that was not my style.
There is no plan.
No, there is no plan.
There's no plan you can make. Everyone here, well, the only person here who's never had a job is Paul F. Tompkins, because he has one job, to be a performer, a stand-up comedian.
I've had the most miserable jobs.
Well, let me put it this way. You did not, and I could be wrong, I might misunderstand this, but you wanted to be a stand-up comedian performer since youth?
Yes,
that was the main goal?
That is true.
The jobs that you took were to support that goal?
Yes, they were day jobs.
You did not have a different career
no,
like that
I
you
did
thought
not.
was going to be your career for the rest of your life? And you had to...
Monster Hunter.
Well, don't tell me you quit.
No, it's more, you know what? It's one of those things where I got burnt out on it for a while, and I was like, I need to take a break from this.
All those years of hunting and not finding.
Yes, exactly. And now it's like, I don't care if I find monsters or not. It's the chase is always better than the kill. Yeah, it's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, there's no such thing as monsters.
But I think, I won't speak for everyone, obviously, but I will speak for me and Jonathan and some others.
Speak for all Johns on the stage.
No, because John Roderick, you were always a performer. You didn't have a career that you thought would be your career for the rest of your life that was not performing music or being artistic in some way, right?
My end goal from the time I was very small was always to not have to work.
It's a very worthy goal, I have to say.
To not have to work at anything. And with every passing day, I get closer to achieving that dream.
That's a terribly competitive field.
I know, but I feel like I have a unique set of gifts. I'm curious to know, sort of a follow-up question to that. How soon after you put your songs on the internet did the Arab Spring take off?
Literally the Arab Spring, or
yeah, I just feel like it was sort of a
Arab Spring in my career.
Sort of a domino effect that people are free today.
Yeah.
Because you put songs about robots and monkeys on the internet.
You will notice that my Twitter avatar is still green. I don't know what the rest of you people are doing, but the last I checked, Iran is not free.
I noticed. I appreciate that.
Are you still located in Tehran?
Yes, I am. Proudly.
Anybody else?
No, I was just asking Jonathan Coulton.
Well, here's the thing though. Jonathan Coulton, you may not realize this, Jonathan Coulton's answered this question a lot of times. So you may have found his answer to be rote or glib. Let me answer for him. Jonathan Coulton is one of the most gifted songwriters and just creative people that I've ever known. And I've known this since we were both 18 years old.
Here.
He was making little mixtapes when he was a teenager, which I had, by the way.
Were they littler than normal mixtapes?
Yeah, they were on microcassettes. He was doing it on a dictation machine.
Unfortunately, the technology to play those back no longer exists.
When Jonathan Coulton moved to New York City, he worked at a record label, and all of us who knew him at the time were saying, you know what, Jonathan, you should be a musician. And Jonathan said, no way. I will not do that because I work at a record label and I see how stupid the industry is. And guess what? It was and is stupid. And and while he would say at that time, there's no way I can succeed in that industry because I don't want to do it that way, we would all say, oh, sure you can. You can do whatever you want. And you know what? That's not true. You can't do whatever you want in life. He wouldn't have succeeded, not in the way he did today, because it wouldn't have been on his terms and it wouldn't have worked. Jonathan waited out of some necessity and worked a career until the technology changed such that he could engage directly with an audience who would appreciate his stuff, and he could make a living off of it by reaching, no disrespect, a smaller number of people than a traditional recording artist would have needed to reach in the 90s to be profitable, right? But all that said, it's not as though he sat around waiting, I'm just going to wait till the technology matures and then I'm going to become a superstar. The technology matured, but then he made the real decision that I think everyone is asking when they ask, how did you do it? Of him or of anyone on stage. And the hardest decision is he quit his job. He quit. And that's the thing that you will put off doing for decades in order to not do what it is you feel you need to do. But it's the first thing you need to do before you can get started. So that's what you quit your job is what I'm saying to you.
And sorry, guys, I love all of you. I was kidding.
David Rees, I'd like to hear Uncle Hodgman tell more Jonathan Coulton stories.
Yeah, I like that.
I would just like to...
In telling that story, I unleashed my eye twitch, which has been in hibernation for 10 years.
Take off your glasses.
I'd like to add something to what John just said that goes for all creative people, and I agree with everything that Uncle Hodgman said, as I often do. But there's a thing where when you are a creative person and you are driven to create, you will starve if that means you get to be creative. And it's not a thing that you choose, it's a thing that chooses you and you do it. And for all of us that have been able to take our thing that we do and share it with an audience that allows us to make a living, we can do that now because of the disruptive technologies of the last 10 years that take away the gatekeepers, that make the record industry irrelevant, that make television executives an annoyance that we can ignore instead of people that we have to go and please. So if you're a creative person and you want and you feel strongly enough and you believe in yourself and you're willing to make the sacrifices and suffer and struggle, the ability that you have now to get your work in front of an audience is more in your favor than it has ever been before. And Uncle John Hodgman is right. You have to quit your job. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to work really, really, really fucking hard with a singular focus of being awesome and hoping that your awesome lands somewhere and then takes off and turns into Code Monkey.
Co-Uncle Will Wheaton is obviously correct. And I would just add that, when I say quit, I mean, not everyone actually can afford to quit their jobs. They're not all married to Christine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I appreciate you may need to keep a job or hang on to a job or work at a Betamax only video store, as I hope Paul F. Tompkins will tell you about at some point in the future.
Perhaps
because
tonight at 4:30.
The synonym for quit, oxymoronically, is start. That's what Will is saying. Just Don't ask, how do you do it? Just start doing it. You'll figure it out for yourself. The end.
My dad's rich, so